There we go. 150 people so far. Wow, beautiful. Hi, hello, and welcome to one more session of Smartlead's Office Hours. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Akash. I'm your friendly customer success manager here at Smartlead. Before we dive into the session, let's warm things up a little bit. You see the chat icon at the center bottom of your screen? Click on that and drop a comment with where you're from, what the weather's like in your city, and whether you're an agency, intense echo. All right. Is it okay now? I think it should be. I hope it's okay. Matteo, can you hear me fine?
I do. Hi, everyone, guys. Yeah, I do, Akash.
Awesome. Perfect. So again, drop on the comment, click on the chat icon. Some people started already. Tell us where you're from, what the weather's like in your city, and also let us know if you're an agency, a freelancer, or a SaaS company. Right? We'd love to know. Let's see who's in the house today. Love it. The regular people keep it coming before I see it. Awesome. Love it. NYC agency, Canada, head of GTM. Argentina agency, Pakistan, Berlin, Santiago, lovely. Global audience as always. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Portugal, Montreal, rainy, London, North Korea. Wow. It's been a while since I saw a lot of people coming in from different places. Beautiful. Keep it coming. But to give a quick introduction about our guest today we have Matteo Fois, who is the founder of TAM Acceleration, where he helps B2B tech companies in the mid-market scale fast with smooth, efficient backend operations. Originally, he's from San Antioco, Sardinia. Matteo has traveled the world meeting extraordinary business leaders, experiences that inspire his passion for helping companies accelerate through smart GTM systems and outbound innovation. And why are we here today? In today's session, one common topic that happens, I talk to a lot of cold emailers on a daily basis, right? And one thing we see happening is cold email breaks when personalization is very generic. Emails like I saw where you studied, I saw where you worked, etc., doesn't cut it anymore. So in this session, Matteo is going to show us how to find leads with AI, build unique, relevant copy directly inside Clay, and scale it into smart lead campaigns. Right. So the focus today is going to be authentic relevance at scale that wins replies with the triggers without gimmicks or spammy lines. Matteo, over to you, sir. A quick round of introduction. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Akash. Thanks a lot for the introduction. And hi, everyone. Yeah, today we're going to speak about a really interesting topic, a topic that I love to speak about, and it's how to really build relevant, unique emails with AI that you can scale. So how you can contact different verticals, different decision makers, different people with completely different pain points and needs, just with one campaign in using Clay, AI, and Smartlead. We'll go into the details. So I will share the presentation now, if it's okay. Guys, we will go with a presentation first. So we'll give some context on what we're going to speak about and the main concepts. And then we will show you like a real live demo of the Clay table that is completely built from scratch. And I will show you exactly what we have done and how it connects to Smartlead then to send these messages at scale. Um, yeah, I start sharing.
Absolutely. Go for it. Yeah. We can see your screen as well, Matteo.
Okay. Amazing, amazing. Thanks, Akash, for the confirmation. Okay, yeah. So already introduced the topic from Clay in how to build the AI copy, unique, relevant emails that differs per each person, and then how to scale this with Smartlead. Akash already introduced me, but yeah, a few words on me. Yeah, I'm the founder of TAM Acceleration. What we do is okay. What we do is we help B2B tech companies, mostly in the mid-size market, to scale rapidly, and we focus on the full system. I'm really fond of the idea that this system what makes the difference in business development nowadays. So what we support the companies is in the different stage of their growth, in the outbound, in building account-based marketing, inbound, specific evergreen plays for them, and in the end, connecting all the RevOps, the CRM, the lead management, all that brings not just the lead and the meeting, but even the conversion later. I'm from a beautiful place that is like the island of Sant'Antioco in Sardinia. It's a small island in Sardinia, so an island in an island. Amazing place. Please visit in summer. It's really great. But I traveled the world. I traveled almost 50 countries by date. You were chatting some of the countries you were in, and I was thinking, yeah, I live there, I live there, I live there. So I love to travel. You know, I'm currently in the US. I was like there for Sculpt by Clay last week, but I will move soon. Yeah, so like this is a bit of introduction about me, and let's go into the topic of today. So first of all, and guys, by the way, feel free to ask questions like in the chat. Eventually, we will review them at the end, or Akash, feel free maybe to stop me and ask me some questions if they are pertinent. Okay, so what is first of all what we want to avoid? And you probably have received a lot of these, and you probably do because I receive a lot of these on a daily basis. You receive like right now with AI, it's very easy to send a lot of emails or written, I would say. So we want to avoid the kind of personalization that, for example, mentions some surface level mentions. For example, I saw you studied at Cambridge, or yeah, nice office in London. This is completely irrelevant to the prospect, and it's like your like the leads, the prospects receive a lot of emails like this every day. Some triggers that are really cringe. I saw that you follow this person. I noticed that you visited my website. I mean, when I received that, and I think it's the same for you, you're like, okay, yeah, that's not really the best use of an email. And generic pain points. Let's say that we are contacting two different people, two different job titles, decision makers in the same company, or maybe two different verticals in the same campaign, and we mention the same pain point and the same solution. Most likely, this is going to be irrelevant to at least one of the two, right? So what we want to avoid, these are some examples that I've collected from my same inbox in just this last week. So yeah, this is like, hi Matteo, so LinkedIn you attended University of Strathclyde, ever participate in the St. Andrews Day Sealed? Heard it's a lively celebration and so on. That said, if you could help you lower your payroll cost by 67%, would that be of interest to you? I mean, we want to, of course, avoid this, right? Hey, I saw that you studied here. This is payroll. How can you cut payroll cost? We don't want that. Another one, cringe triggers, probably you have seen like this happening so pretty much. I noticed you follow this company that I don't even know who they are. So figure you might be handling proxies at TAM Acceleration. Honestly, I don't know who the company is. I kind of get bothered as well that they are texting me this exact message. And maybe the UVP later is even okay. I mean, the rest of the email was even okay. But, you know, like just this trigger is not relevant to me. It kind of so bother me, to be honest. And in the end, generic pain points, this is like another one. Yeah, just skip the fact that some parts are blank, you know, but that's probably like they probably miss some personalization in here and there. But yeah, if you focus here on the pain point that looking at TAM Acceleration, you're clearly driving growth, but the biggest growth killers in strategy is execution. These are really generic pain points. I mean, I don't really have these pain points, and they are extremely generic. So why relevance beats poor personalization? Usually, and we have tested this with different campaigns, different clients, when we have more generic messages. And we have done this for a lot of time because, you know, like already like just 6 months ago, we couldn't have the relevant of focus that AI can have now. So AI has done a lot of improvement. I started using Clay 1 year ago, and 1 year ago, we were not nearly near what we can do now, but not even 6 months ago, you know? So we can do a lot now in terms of building a message that is extremely unique per each prospect. So we've seen both worlds. We've seen the more generic message, and we've seen like the AI unique message. And with the more generic message, we got like, for example, less than 100% reply. When we scale to the AI unique, we got like 3% and more reply rate on that. And what's really important as well is when we want to safeguard the sender reputation. we do campaigns in Outbound. We send over 1 million emails per month for our clients. And let's say that you are one client that you want to send 100,000 emails per month, 1 million emails per month. You cannot rely on generic templates. You cannot rely even on spin tags. Why? Because Google, Microsoft, we pick up the pattern, and what is going to happen is that you're going to end up in spam. So if you send, if you send a few emails, that's probably even okay. But if you send a lot of emails, if you want to scale, you need to rely on Unique AI because you need to have like a message that is different from everyone. So higher reply rates, higher positive reply rate, and better sender reputation. Some example of like messages that we have written for customers, and then we will show you how to get here. So we want, for example, this was like a campaign, and I will show you two campaigns. So this is the same campaign. These are two messages, completely different, sent from the same campaign Smartlead, built directly with AI, two completely different people. So in this case, we were offering, we were prospecting people in the education field, and we were prospecting like teachers or like people in the school. So we were like selling something related to support people with disabilities and people with dyslexia and problems like this kind of problems. As you strive to support all reading levels within your ELA classroom, have you found a tech-forward way to foster independence and reduce reliance on one-on-one support? Many schools are finding that providing students with tools to access the curriculum on their own terms builds confidence and a genuine love of reading. And then we give like some social proof. So at the beginning, we go with an entry point. I don't even know what it means, to be honest, but it means a lot to the decision maker. It means a lot to the person that is receiving this email. And then we get to the pain point. The pain point is directly connected to the entry point. I will show you exactly later how to connect the entry point to the pain point, to the solution, and then the case study, eventually the social proof that you want to provide. The second line mentioned like a solution. So many schools are finding that providing students with tools to access the curriculum on their own terms builds confidence and a genuine love of reading. So it gives a solution that is related to the problem. And then in the end, we give a case study. So in this case, it's like some statistics, but it's a statistic that is relevant to the pain point and to the solution. And then soft call to action. The same exact campaign, so same exact campaign in Clay, same exact campaign in Smartlead, built this different message. Completely different decision maker. We don't want to send the same message. Hey, Leslie, I was thinking about how much time your students are spending independent in subjects like music and art. This was like a teacher in music and art, so different than the previous one. What if you could provide them with a tool that allows them to instantly access definition and their words read aloud, fostering greater comprehension and independence? Curious to explore this further. So in the second paragraph, we are addressing basically the solution and the pain point. And again, guys, like this is, I could show like you 1,000 of examples that are completely different from the same campaign. This is to give the point. Another completely different campaign. This is for a client in the travel sector, in the transportation sector. What we say here is like, hey, I noticed your company focused on expanding to the global Muslim travel market. The project growth to 400 billion presents a unique challenge in scaling corporate travel. And then like here is more opportunity. So what is the opportunity? We notice something that is an opportunity for you. Well, we have like something that is great for you. We specialize in providing reliable ground transportation for major events, coordinating all our live and transfers for a single platform. And then soft call to action. Again, same campaign number 2, different person. We have like a different message that builds more on what is relevant to them. I notice your company is expanding with 216 new luxury lodges, coordinating seamless transfer for guests, master flawless execution, and then solution and the case study. If you notice, and I will explain later in the live demo how we do this, but if you notice in here we are mentioning a case study, and in here we're not mentioning a case study. And this is the same campaign, okay? Campaign number 2. In campaign number 1, same. In here we're mentioning some social proof, in here not. So like the email is really written based on what the client, what you have specifically at your disposal, what you can offer, what are your social proof, and is built based on the specifics of the person that you are contacting. So we will see some more of these example later. But what is the framework to scale relevant messages? First of all, you have to build your own AI agent. It's very easy, nothing that needs to be extremely complex. I suggest you can build like your own AI agent. For example, I use Gemini. I can show you something. But yeah, you have your own AI agent that knows everything about you, everything about what is your offer, what is the people that you help, what are the solution, your unique selling proposition, and everything that you do. We find as much data as possible. I was actually attending last week. I was scalped by Clay, and I was at a side event organized by Jordan Crawford and Eric Nowaslaski, and they were speaking about. Jordan was mentioning about getting more than 5 data points per prospect, for more than 5 data points to write a message. I learned a lot from both Jordan and Eric, so I got a lot from there, even in building like the same procedure. And yeah, this is like the concept is that one. We want to find as much data as possible on your prospect, as much data as possible on the company and on the contact level. And I will show you later how to do this. After we have all this data, we want to generate contextual AI copy. So we want to have like in the end another agent that, okay, you have all this data. Perfect. Let's put all this data together and let's build a message that makes sense. Let's build a message that places all the bits together. Okay, pain point, solution, case study, and in the end, scale through Smartlead. Some data that matters, we will see later: team structure, technology stack, business signals. I won't stop too much on here. We will see anyway these like soon more in details. And yeah, let's jump more into the demo like right now. So what I'll show you now is gonna be the demo from Clay to to Smartlead. So what we will cover is gonna be how we can find leads with AI. I usually suggest to do this for a reason of saving costs or even on finding information on the company. Building your own micro AI agent. So we won't build one unique agent. If we give AI a task to find the information, find the pain points, find everything, and then build the email, like the result will be kind of trash, you know? So we don't want that. We want many micro AI agents that do specific tasks, unique tasks. And we want all of them to work together to then build the final email that we will send to our prospect. We will set up the Clay enrichment workflows. This is going to be pretty quick. We will build the AI prompts for contextual copy. So I will show you like what is like the inside of each AI prompt. And I will give you the instruction on how you can build your own AI prompt. It's not much important to learn exactly the prompt or to copy the prompt, for example. What's important is to understand what's the process, what's that thought process behind that to then eventually build the same thing. Then we will push all these messages to Smartlead, and then we will go on assurance quality and test the processes to make sure, you know, that what we are sending is actually good. We want, of course, like to make sure that we are sending something that that makes sense, and we have to be good at that. Okay, let me go out from here. And
while you do that, Matteo, 2 quick questions that came through the chat, right?
Yeah.
So one is from Nando. How do you get to non-generic pain points for new target audiences? Would you have any recommendations?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question, Akash.
Yes. So it's how do you get to non-generic pain points for new target audiences?
Yes. So like the new target audience is the person that I'm prospecting, or is
Prospects,
for example a client? Okay, the prospect. Yes.
Target.
I'll show you this like right now. So we have to first of all get all the data possible regarding to them, and we have to contextualize all the data to what we offer and to what we can solve.
Right.
Because, for example, like one person, one potential prospect can have a lot of pain points, right? Related to 1,000 of solution. We have one solution. So what are the pain points related to my solution? And so it's very important that we do this. I will show you like soon.
Sure. Got it. And one more question from Rishabh, Matteo, right? So how does poor personalization result to sender reputation damage? I'm assuming it's via spam, unsubscribes, whichever are higher. Do you agree?
100%. So yeah, there are like different things in what like was mentioned before. when you send, so let's say that you send, if you use poor personalization, so every email is very different to one another. Yeah, like the damage to the sender reputation is done by the flag spams, because like you will receive a lot of flag spams, right? If it's like poorly written and bothers maybe people. Instead, when like if you use Pintax, and so like you have like limited combination at one point, you will
Right.
trigger, if you send a lot of volume, you will trigger spam filters because of like the message is always the same at one point, so they notice the pattern.
Understood. Understood. And one last question before we jump into Clay. What are the advantages of Clay compared to Apollo, for example, for contact enrichment?
Yes, so Clay, I mean, Apollo, we get, for example, some data from Apollo, depending on the target that we want to
Right.
prospect, and we bring into Clay. So Clay allows you to merge different data points together, and that's the huge value. And Clay allows you really to be the brain of your go-to-market motion, okay? So like Clay can be really the center of all your go-to-market activities, from sales, marketing. So it's not just data enrichment, okay? Clay is just, data enrichment is just probably the tiniest part at the beginning, okay? But then there is really a word behind.
Understood. Thank you so much. Over to you, Matteo.
My pleasure. Thanks, Akash, for your question. Please let me know if you will want to ask any others. So yeah, let's go into the let's go into share screening. I was already okay. Okay, final result, guys, is gonna be we're gonna see this. Okay, yeah, this is me. We're gonna see this. So we're gonna see how we can. At the end of the day, we are starting here in Clay. We are starting from companies. We will use AI to first find the leads, find data, build the relevant email, and then push everything to Smartlead. So the final result is going to be something like this. We will have for each different lead an email that is completely different to each other, that is completely relevant to them, and completely relevant to their pain point and to what their solution is. So what this is going to be the final result. I will show you now how we will get there. Just a note on like what I've shown you before were like emails that we sent for our customers. For like this campaign, it's something that they've built from scratch only for the purpose of this office hour. So it's cool, because they really rebuilt it from scratch. So I applied the process that they usually apply for, let's say, a new client, and they built it from us in less than 1 day, and I get something that we can scale. We don't really usually need this for ourselves, as we mostly get leads inbound, and so I built this for us just like for this purpose. And I think it's pretty cool, as it was like done in a pretty short amount of time. Okay, first of all, we get here the companies. Okay, like easily the companies, you can import these companies in Clay. I think most of you probably know how to do this, but if you're curious, just ask me later, and we can see in the Q&A. We get all the information regarding the company, general ones, name, description, industry, the location, the country, the domain, the LinkedIn URL, the company LinkedIn URL. At this point, okay, so I'm selling services as TAM Acceleration. So like we sell growth services, right? Revenue generation services. So we want to have information regarding the ACP. Why do I suggest to start usually on company? We want to find a lot of information regarding the person, the prospect we're going to contact, but we want to find information regarding the company and the contact. If we scale campaigns, we will need eventually to have like a lot of scraping and a lot of AI cost for a lot of different prospects, right, at the contact level. So
Right.
whenever you can find information at the company level, always do that, right? Because then it's instead then like say, if you have 5 decision maker per one company, it's not 5 enrichments, it's 1 enrichment. And so you save on cost. That's like really important when you're thinking about scaling.
Understood.
So main ICP, we find information regarding the ICP of our prospect. So what is the unique selling proposition? What is the target company that they want to prospect? What is the pain point that they solve for their customers? What is the industry that they target? what is the target job title? Now they look similar because this is like the tech industry, all the leads are in the tech industry, but if I click, like they change, right? I mean, the job titles are different. This is like an information that we are getting for the company, and then we are gonna send to the contact table that is like the next one, the next table where we will get all the leads, so the specific people that we wanna contact, and when we will build the email, I will show you later how to do it. The next step is we find the lead. So we find the lead directly. We can find the lead directly in Clay. We have the company. We build a prompt to find the leads in Clay. And of course, these prompts, guys, like they change according to what you're selling. You know, to give you some context, like I will need to give context on who we are. So I'm finding leads for myself for TAM Acceleration, right? So I will have to find leads I will have to give context for TAM Acceleration. I will have to give context for our services, right? If I'm doing this for a client, I will have to give service context on the client. So it's going to be completely different how the prompt is built. Now, we can go in the detail of the prompt. It's very important that you give them, again, context on the company. You give like job titles that you want to prospect, and you give like the qualification criteria and how to basically assess the leads is correctly found. You don't have to write this by hand. I mean, I don't suggest you. You can. What is my suggestion is like to use to build an AI agent in Gemini. Or another tool, by the way, another LLM. I use Gemini. I really like the output that it gives. And you basically what you do is give an AI agent all the potential information and context regarding your company. Give all the information possible. Give everything that is your offer, who you sell it to, the pain points that you solve, really anything that is relevant to you, and give this information to that and use Gemini, build this knowledge in Gemini, prompt it, speak with it, build an agent that then you can every time come here and ask information regarding your company. So what I've done, this is like a few months ago, for example, I built this agent. I gave a lot of information regarding TAM Acceleration. I gave a lot of information regarding us and a lot of documents. I added a lot of documents. And across time, whenever I have to build a new agent, I come here, I paste the old agent, and I speak with the agent. This is something that I learned from Jordan Crawford again. I learned a lot from him, like in all this. And you can speak to the agent directly, and you can ask, for example, this is the prompt that I'm using. I need to have like a prompt for my services. You have all the context on my services, so build the prompt for my services. And guys, this is something that we will replicate then across the email generation procedure. Okay, so this is like the first part. This is something that we see like soon later. So what is the thing here is that we get a lot of leads, for example, name, last name, title, reasoning, LinkedIn URL. You know, we get all information regarding the leads that work at this company. We then send all these leads, only the ones for which we are sure, so only the ones that are green. We don't want to send the ones for which AI wasn't sure, otherwise we risk to send maybe leads that are not really working there. So we send leads that are relevant, and we send them to a second table where we have all our contacts. Where we have all our contacts. So we have all the names in here. This is already been filtered out, but you have name, first name, title, LinkedIn URL, etc. What we do now is like we do some enrichment, right? So we verify the LinkedIn. We make sure that the LinkedIn is correct. We find the right LinkedIn URL. We find eventually additional information if needed. Here we have like a ton of information regarding like the decision makers and the company. Again, here we have brought like the information regarding the ICP that they target. And we enrich their email. Now, this is the full workflow for email enrichment. This can vary. We can, if you want, we can dive deep into this into the Q&A. But basically, this is the steps on which we find the email of the person. So we have enriched at this step the leads, making sure that the LinkedIn URL is correct. We want the LinkedIn URL. both for data scraping and both eventually for conducting them there. We find their email, and we have already found information regarding the company, and we have found already information regarding the ICP that they target. At the same point, we can use, for example, we're using Lead Magic, and we're finding a lot of other additional information that we can use eventually to inform our next AI agent that will build the email copy. Okay, now we've so gone through all the process of are we building our main AI agent? We've gone through the process of finding leads with AI. We have gone through the process on the main enrichment of these contacts. What we want to do now is we want to build the copy. We want to build a copy of the email, and we will use multiple AI agents. We don't want to, again, as I was mentioning before, we don't want to have one unique agent that builds the email. This would give us like really trash results. So what we want to have one agent that does a specific action, and then we have like one final one that builds the email and places everything together. So the first one, and I will show you like the prompts of each, is like we called it like GTM lead dossier. So this is gonna compile basically a dossier of the lead. So it's gonna find additional information, as many information as possible, relevant to us, to TAM Acceleration, relevant to the person we are sending email for. It will find all the information, all the possible information regarding contact and company. In the second part, we will find the specific pain point that we want to underline for them based on what we can sell. In the third AI agent, we'll find the UVP, the UVP, the solution that we can offer to this pain point. And then we will associate to this like a case study, a relevant case study. At the end, we will have the email building process that will place all the bits together, and we will make sure that like, the email makes sense, that like the entry point is connected to the pain point, that is connected to the solution, to the case study, and the call to action. Okay, so yeah, let's go here. First of all, GTM lead dossier. I'll probably give you like an idea of what we get. First, we get an executive summary over the prospect. We get a strategic analysis over here. So like, for example, how we can engage, how we can start the conversation, why it's relevance to us. So what's the relevance of this specific prospect, of this specific person? So not the company, but the specific person to us. What are additional other findings? What are some personal dimensions? What is the communication style that they like? What is the involvement that they like? What are they interested into? The professional profile, for example, the achievements, the career timeline, the skill expertise. I mean, we can go into the details of everything that is written here, but it will take like a lot of time. So I will just give you like a snapshot of like what we get and what we can get. The media appearances, they appeared in interviews, thought leadership, what is like their general, their appearance across the web, professional network analysis. And if you look at the prompt, and again, the way to build the prompt is the same one that I was explaining before for the lead finding. So we want a major prompt, and then we want our major AI agent that knows everything about you to build a prompt for you, starting from a starting point. We give context of who we are. So yeah, this is TAM Acceleration. So you have to find data that is relevant to us. We don't care about data that is irrelevant to us. We want to find data that is relevant to what we offer. We give all the inputs. So we give all the inputs that I showed before. We give inputs regarding the name, the title, the company name, the LinkedIn URL, the country, all the information regarding the ICP that we found before at company level. And then we say, okay, you have to find this information. Extensive web like the names are funny. It's not built. The names are like AI stuff. You know, it's not me that shows, for example, extensive web excavation. But yeah, for example, we find information like on the web, investor relation page, industry news site. We find information regarding the social media, so LinkedIn, X, Twitter, other parts. Deep company analysis. We look at the press release about us, leadership, careers. Industry context. So what's happening in your industry? Is the industry constrained? Is your industry not constrained? What are the general regulations that are going on in your industry? Holistic personal insights, so information regarding them. Are they going to interviews? Are they going to podcasts? Are they going to any panel discussions? Creative sourcing and inference. So, for example, have they gone investor portfolio thing? Have they got funding, public filings, and all this kind of information? And then we ask that to give the output. output. So if we look at here, every different lead is going to have a specific dossier. It is extremely relevant to them. Is going to change with explanation regarding the lead specific to them, extremely detailed to them. What we want to do later, after we have like this, that is going to be like the main data that we're using of our prospect, is we build the pain point. So we find the pain point regarding our prospect. And again, same thing as before. Okay, so same thing as before. We want to build the prompt starting from our macro, a prompt in Gemini or your other LLM. So you give like the context on who we are. Again, context on TAM Acceleration, answering even the question before, right? We find the pain point saying what we solve. We want to find a pain point that is relevant to what we solve, not generic ones. We then give all the inputs, so all the inputs that we have already provided, plus all the inputs that we have gotten from the GTM lead dossier, right? All the data that we have already found, we give these to our prospect. We give the information regarding the ICP, and we give them the instruction on how to basically find the pain point, and then the output instruction. Again, guys, I can go more in detail if you're curious, maybe later in the Q&A. Now I will give like the snapshot of like what is the procedure.
Awesome.
Of course,
One quick stop,
yeah, go
Matteo.
Akash, please.
We've also got a lot of requests. If you can share this Clay table with an example, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Just DM me on LinkedIn, guys, and I mean, I will share with you. Or I don't know, Akash, if it's just another way.
That's easier, right? So maybe what I'll do is I'll drop your LinkedIn on the chat as well. So drop a message to
Amazing.
Matteo and you should get the table, guys. Thank you so much, Matteo. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure, guys, no problems. Thanks, Akash. Then we find the UVP matching. And again, one point that I want to underline, the main pain point that we solve, in the end, we don't solve 1,000 pain point, right? So they're not going to be always like extremely different ones. We will have, if you notice, like some of them like repeat themselves, but it makes sense because we want the pain point that we can solve in that specific situation. There are two different philosophies. That is probably for another chat, but there are two different philosophies that are like, we want to constrain AI and the agent, or we want to keep it free. I'm more towards like constrain it like at the moment, but I'm seeing like solutions where we keep it more free to the pain points in solution by itself, and it's really good at that as well. But I'm more towards like the constraint solution at the moment. Okay, after we have then the data information and the pain point, we get the UVP matching. So we find information regarding the UVP that we can offer to this pain point, to this person in this specific solution. Same concept, okay? Same concept. We build the prompt with the macro agent. We give all the information that were collected before. We give all the information regarding us. We give information regarding what we solve for a specific pain. Okay, so pain to solution, and then we match this with a selected case study. We find the best case study, we selected with that. If you remember at the really beginning, when I showed the presentation, in some cases, we were not showing a case study, right? In some of the emails didn't have a case study. That's why sometimes we cannot really find a relevant case study for the specific situation. And in that case, AI is instructed that if they don't have like a relevant one, like to not add that case study to that email. As you would do, like as a human. If you send, in the end, our goal is to send an email that looks written by a human and written one-to-one. If you send, if you don't have a case study, you won't mention an irrelevant case study, right? So that's the concept. Yeah, so case study, you mentioned like your main case studies that you want to use in this case. You give all the context, all the inputs, and yeah, the consequent output, and we will get the case study that we want to select. Yeah, please, Akash.
And a quick question regarding the case studies from Lee, Matteo. So how are you finding the case studies? Are you pointing them to a DB of your own with case studies? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, okay. In this case, we build. So like in this case, let's say we are sending the email from TAM Acceleration. So I provide what are our case study. Right. Because I tell what is my case study that I want to use for the prospect. If I'm building it for a client, I study what are the case studies from my client. Okay. I add in the case study here what are the case studies, and maybe I speak with the client and we speak, okay, what these are the case studies that we want to highlight, and we add the relevant case studies in the agent here.
Understood. So you're adding them for each of the leads based on where they belong to, right? So based on the industry, based on which case study you would want to share, you're adding them for each of these leads.
Correct, correct, correct. I mean, yeah, the case study is something that we like the case study that was like the client will have like some case study and it's
True.
already written.
Got it.
We like with this passage, we choose the case study that we want to mention to the prospect.
Fair enough.
Let me know if it was like if you want to go like deeper in this, like happy to go.
Absolutely.
Um, Okay. Yeah, thanks, man. So, like the last step in all of this, so we have like all our agents, and the last step is to build the email copy, right? So these are like some of like the examples that I was showing you before. Yeah, like for example, this is one. Like every copy needs to be like specific. So how does work on major public sector implementation, like the fiscal project? Does managing such long and intricate sales cycles make it challenging to maintain consistent revenue stream? So you see like the entry point that is gotten from the data, the pain point that is associated with that entry point, and then the solution. This is often solved by engineering predictable revenue ranges to smooth out performance. And then we mentioned a Clay study. For cloud similar to the client, we built the foundation of this system and we had a rich database of over 20,000 data customer contacts. Does this approach resonate? We want like the email every email is going to be different, right? Every email is going to be different based on what exactly like the specific case is. Okay, we can go more in details if you want in this, like in Smartlead as well, like where it's sent than these emails. But yeah, what is the concept that we want here? How do we get one unique email per each prospect that is relevant to them? So we want to give all the information that we collected so far. So in short, we are giving like the information regarding all the information regarding the prospect, the pain point, the solution, and the case study. And we want to really give a lot of rules here. This is not an easy part, guys. Like, for example, I've rebuilt this for this specific campaign, and it took me a few hours, I would say, rebuilding this, because when you rebuild this, there are always nuances, there are always new things, and you need to prompt and reprompt the prompt to get to the result that you want. So every result is always optimizable. A result could be always optimized, okay? But you want to get to a point that is quality-wise that makes sense. And you need like a lot of iteration to get there. So we want to give as a mandate, for example, the golden thread. This is again like a name chosen by AI, but it makes sense, you know? So we want a thread between entry point, pain point, solution, and case study. And we have to mention this a lot of time, because if you don't mention this, it will really make the email completely random. It will mention something related to the entry point that is completely unrelated to what follows, you know, and you will have like strange emails going out. And then we want to give like a lot of indication regarding how to do the copy. If you were sending this email, how would you write it? You would be roughly human, right? You would write as you are texting to a smart colleague. You would be obsessed on the recipient, not on yourself. You don't want to speak about your features. No one's care. You want to be focused on their person, what you can do for them. Extreme simplicity. The more you simple, the more it's better. And you want to avoid these things. You want to avoid the presumptions language. I hate, for example, when they start like an email with a fact. I know that this is going on. I mean, you don't know. You're not in my company. You want to weaponize negative news. Nothing that is, for example, related to bad news, political, you know, anything that is like bad news, we don't want to mention them. About us monologue, don't speak about who you are. Never start with who you are. Premature calendar grabs. Don't use a call to action where you offer a calendar, where you say, hey, do you want to pick a calendar? Oh, hey, this is my link. Never do that. And avoid hyphens, you know, like the double hyphen with like, that's basically like the AI mark. So avoid hyphens as much as possible. And then we want to give like the information regarding how to build the email, right? We want to have like the structure. So this is the structure of the email. And guys, this changes based on what your final output is. There is never a unique solution. So I like to build, for example, the template that I showed. This is something that I really like, and it comes from Josh Brown. I follow him a lot for copy. Yeah, so we are using in the first part the relevance and the pain as a question. That is the poke the bear question in Josh Brown's language. And then we have the solution case study and soft call to action. But you know, you can use a completely different template that would work better for your target. So like it's always a reverse engineering. Understand what works for your target, and then you reverse engineering. You give AI the rules on what to build. In this case, I wanted to build this template that I just mentioned to you, and so I give AI the output that needs to be given in paragraph 1, in paragraph 2, in paragraph 3. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer. It's up to you. You know, I see like success with this kind of messages, and so we are replicating them. We want both email 1 and email 2. Email 2 needs to be like a new fresh angle. So we mention in email 2, never mention following up. It is a brand new email. We don't want to say, hey, I'm following up. It needs to look like a complete new email. We always give like the target, 8120 words, and again, mandatory structure for email 2 as well. And then we give the final output in JSON. Something I didn't mention, guys, always try to have like the result. I mean, I always like to have like the result in JSON like this. That's probably the best thing to get. I mean, it's my favorite thing to get in a nice way, like this kind of structure that you can reference easily, and then you can easily add. You can easily, for example, send to Smartlead. Okay, once we have all of this, so we've built the email in Smartlead. Sorry, we have the email in Clay, the subject 1, email 2, subject 2. At this point, we can find additional information that I usually use in the PS, both the job title and the name of the competitor. That's like something additional. You can find other information. And then we send everything to Smartlead, okay? We send everything to Smartlead. And in Smartlead, we will then have directly the message like this. Okay, so of course, we need to create the campaign. And as I was mentioning, created this specifically for this event. But yeah, you will have like the email that will look like this. Yeah, specific, like the subject line written by AI, email completely written by AI, PS, in this case, the PS is pin text. But this is like my style. I like to keep the PS separated from the full email. If you want, you can include the PS in the output of the email generated by in Clay. Let's see some example, for example. And again, I built this 2 days ago in a few hours, starting from the template. Hi, name. So the news about the Ascension acquisition, congratulations. So they've done like an acquisition. Imagine this puts a spotlight on scaling operation and aligning your product management while ensuring revenue growth remain consistent. That's probably the pain point. They just done an acquisition. That's their pain point that we can solve. The challenge is often solved by engineering a complete comprehensive revenue engine from the ground up. For a B2B client facing similar scaling pressures and additional cost, we built a system that automated SDR work and delivered a 21x ROI. So solution that is in line with the pain point and the case study that is in line. Is a more predictable growth system on your radar? This is the call to action. And then we can mention this is a PS that is working. I noticed this competitor is working on a very similar project and is part of thought. No worry if it isn't a priority to you right now, just let me know. And if you go to another prospect, it's completely different. Hey, Sean, so the news about this company appointment and the new investment round, does this put pressure on turning your programming and research into a more consistent revenue stream? So the impressive journey of this company to 2.6 million, your influence as a power apps guru is clear. I mean, I have no idea what it's speaking, right? But it's speaking about something that is relevant to them, something that is like extremely inherent to them. And this makes the email unique, and it allows us to build really a thread between entry, pain point, solution, case study, and then call to action. And this is what makes the difference between then a message that works, a unique message that works, and messages that are all the same and that they don't get reply. Can show you more, guys, like in the Q&A. I think I went like even a little bit probably longer than expected. Yeah, I would say even to kind of conclude, and then again I will stop, like leave space for the Q&A. So what we want is always, guys, to balance automation and authenticity. So we want to ensure quality. Well, like the result that you are seeing, like right now, I have rebuilt this prompt a lot of times, and this was already a prompt that was already working for others. So like quality is extremely important. The first result is never going to be great. So the quality is essential. Test quality. Have always a human testing the quality. Once you build the prompt, once you get the result, have a human that rechecks that the copy is good, and that checks when the email is sent that everything is going well. Even that checks the replies and is like, okay, are we sending at scale? Are we sending all messages in a good way, or are some messages maybe are being sent that are like wrong? And then continuous improvement. Always monitor reply rates. Always monitor the replies, the feedback that are arriving. Okay, always monitor them and get feedback, optimize. For example, I'm a fan, and that was something that was mentioned as Sculpt that I got mine. It was like we want to scale what one SDR does randomly that works well. We want to scale 10x. We want to scale 100x. And this is the same concept with AI as well. You know, AI SDRs are going to be the new SDRs, but anyway. And what we want to do is we want to, if like one of these emails is better than the others, it is getting more replies, check what is going well, check why it's going well, and eventually rebuild the prompt to scale what is going better. I probably like ranting a lot of things, but yeah, this is like a really important thing to continuously improve in like what the solutions are. Okay, probably key takeaways. Unique relevance over personalization always shows unique messages that are relevant to you over like generic personalization as we've seen at the beginning. Data-driven approach, get as many data as possible over your prospect. Scale authentically. Look like a human. When you scale, never look like a bot. It's full of bots that send emails. Look like a human. And build a complete workflow, build in Clay, use AI, scale with Smartlead. Yeah, at least space for the Q&A.
Absolutely. The chat is blasting as well. I was responding to one message and I can see 21 new messages. So folks, for whose questions you have not asked yet, this is your chance. Just turn on your video and you'll see an option called React at the center bottom. Click on that, raise hand, and I'll spotlight you. You can shoot your questions directly to Matteo. Again, React at the center bottom. Click on that. You have an option called raise hand. Click on that. I'll spotlight you and you can shoot your questions directly. There we go. Can you start your video, Sushant?
Yeah. Hey, Sushant.
Unmute yourself. Perfect. We can hear you. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, boss.
Okay. Okay, great. First of all, great session, Akash and Matthew. Lots of learning on the email and the Clay and the personalization. And also, my name is Manish. Actually, my nephew has renamed Sushant while playing the game. So sorry about that. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah. So my question is, while doing the personalization and building the table in Clay, where you said the relevancy is more important than personalization, and you have also showed us the how to use Gemini and do it. So my question is, like to reach to the good reply rate, what is the framework, like 2-3 top framework that someone can follow to reach that personalization versus relevance, like 2-3 framework to put it email in a good way that matches to that relevance that you talked about?
Yes, that's a good question, Susan. So like the main thing is we want always to, so like the relevance versus personalization is based on the data that you have. The more data that you have that is relevant to the prospect, the more you're able to craft a message that is not personalized, but is like based on something that is relevant to them. When I say relevance over personalization, with personalization, I really mean you really use the stuff to the prospect. If you, maybe it worked like a few years ago, it worked. I mean, I remember I did that at the time of like early LinkedIn in 2022, 2023, like some mention of something cool for them, you know? But yeah, like right now it's not working anymore because everyone is doing. So we don't want to mention something personal for them, something that is, for example, where you studied, but we want to mention to them data. So if we want to simplify maybe the process like that they showed, where I think like every step is by way important, like a 3-step framework would be you find data that is relevant and you choose the exact data that you want to focus on. So you maybe choose like a series of data that is like most relevant for your offer. You then get from that data, the entry point, and then what you do is like in a second step, you find eventually the pain point that that kind of entry point signifies, and you can find the pain point, the solution, and then you build the message. So if you want like let's say faster workflow, probably I would simplify the data part, the data finding part, pointing the only data that you're interested into, maybe 5 data points or like even 2-3 data points that you're most interested in.
Got
I
it.
don't know if
Got it.
it answers the question.
Yeah. So, Matthew, so what you were saying is like personalization, like recent funding or maybe employee headcount growth in the company, or maybe new office expansion. So all these are not very relevant in today's scenario while writing
I
the
see
email.
less relevant. I see less relevant, but it depends, it depends even on the solution. It's not, I see like company headcount grow, for example, it's easy to engineer, right? Because like you can just filter that from Apollo. So
Right.
it's in the end, it's pretty easy. A lot of people do that. So yeah, I see it less relevant right now. The more you're able to find the more you're able to interconnect different data points among each other and make them communicate to each other, the better it is. So if you have 4 data points, for example, and you really depict their unique situation, that's the best thing.
Got it. Got it. This helps. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Manish.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Next up is Vidusin. Vidusin, if you can turn on your video, I'll quickly spotlight you. There we go. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Can you hear me well?
Yep. Go for it.
Hey, Vituzan, yeah.
Yes, I'm good. Doing good?
Yeah.
Can you hear me too? Sounds good. Yeah, so I had a question for your process. I was wondering, the thing is, it's really beautiful to see that you have a lot of relevance and personalization at such a big scale. I was wondering, how do you structure your tracking methodology to make sure that you can make it scalable, if you know what I mean? For example, when you send this to a lot of people, right, you're able to see some patterns, right? How do you then take those patterns? How do you make it? Because at the end of the day, I saw that every email, as of my knowledge, is personalized, which means that you have what, thousands and thousands of emails which are personalized, but I assume that you have common patterns to make sure that you're able to track which angles and everything so that you can repeat it, right? Is that how it works for your methodology?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vituzan. So to scale is the last part. Scale never has to be like the first part. The first part is like low volumes. It's always what we tell clients as well. Like we want to start with low volumes, and we are able to optimize quickly in low volumes. It's very difficult to optimize in large volumes. For example, if we send 1 million emails per client or like even 100,000 emails. So we want to start with like 20,000 emails, for example, something like that per month. We go at low volumes, and in this way, we can check like the percentage of replies. We check the percentage of replies, both positive and negative, and you will see patterns. But here, like it's where we need like humans as well. Of course, it's a mathematical thing, and we can see even in Smartlead directly like the reply rates and the interested versus not interested in the global analytics. It's something that I'm using a lot. It's something new from Smartlead. It's actually very cool, and it allows to quickly see like these metrics. But you want to scale, you want to optimize the campaign at low volumes so that you're able to, like, let's say now we have created a campaign, we send the campaign out, we send these messages out. When we get the replies, both interested and not interested, like a human checks what are like the replies. When are they super interested? When are they kind of interested? When are they not interested? And we can see patterns in this way. If they are super interested, amazing. Okay, so probably we can save this email. We can replicate more of what it was there. If it's not interested, okay, what's going on? Maybe we have said maybe we have placed like an hyphen more. Maybe we have said something that was wrong. And we can find what was going wrong in the prompt. So we kind of fix this like at low volumes, and then we can scale once we have like the best solution for the best optimized prompt and campaigns. I don't know if it was an if
Just if I may
if it
add,
answers the question.
so if I just
Yeah,
may
sure,
add a
please.
last point on this one before leaving the place for the others as well. So can I assume that what you're doing essentially with the the human feedback loop at the end is kind of a reactive type of mess? Because I see that there are kind of two approach, which is first you define an angle and then you target the angle, or people call it a pain point. I know Kellen from Handball, he calls it angle. Other people they use pain point, but from what I see, is it from your perspective, you essentially send a lot of emails, and at the end, you see what the market reacts at, and then you just establish a pattern from there, and then you increase volume from there? Was it more like Kellen, where you already know some angles, and then you target those angles first and by doing the constraint that you talked about in the AI? And then after you know what I mean? There's a proactive and reactive approach, or there's just an hybrid between both. But essentially,
Yes, so we start at at the beginning we start with so we get at the beginning we don't go random. Okay, that's important. We don't go random, you know. So we know what are like the
okay.
angles that we're gonna go after. It's not something that we build and then okay we are completely random. Um, it's something that we don't do. It's something that could maybe be possible in the future. I don't know, but like right now, it's not really fun. We want to constrain the AI model, so we want to provide the angles that we want to use in a way that then it matches with that. It depends. Like the first step, it depends on the level of knowledge that the prospect has over that we have as well over our prospect. Sometimes I even suggest that the first step of the campaign is manual. It's more manual and is more syntax based with low volumes, where we get exactly what is the template and what is the UVP and the pain points that we want to push. Other times we can go directly into the AI. So it depends a little bit on a few fake things, but we don't leave it like randomly to pick things. You know, we give them angles based on the context on what we solve and the context on what pain points we solve.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Matthew. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, it was my pleasure.
Next up is Lee. Good to see you again, sir. Met yesterday. There we go. Can you unmute yourself?
Hey, Akash, good to see you again, man.
Hey, Lee.
And Matteo, this was wonderful. Everything is, it seems like your structure is absolutely phenomenal. I have a bit of a novice question when it comes to Clay and the AI agent building. It seems that it's just stacking prompts. Like you have a prompt to build a prompt that you input into a prompt. I was trying to take screenshots of the prompts themselves as you were scrolling through it. But it seems that the initial prompt to build the AI agent is probably the most important. You said that you prompt Gemini to pull the services that you already offer to build that prompt. Assuming that I don't have my services pulled into that initial prompt, what does the structure of that agentic prompt look like?
Yes, that's a great question, Lee. And that's definitely the probably most important part. You're right. Is at the beginning. There isn't really a structure. Like the goal here is like to provide all the context that you can have over your company, and you have to prompt AI to find as many information as possible to do analysis on it. So imagine really you open Gemini or like again another LLM that you like. Put yourself in speaking mode and speak with the AI. Tell it like what you're providing to him. Okay, this are information of my company. These are our solution. These are our case studies. This is our website. These are our customers. You give as many information as possible, and you ask it to do an analysis of your company. So you ask it to run an analysis of your company and to return the results. It will run. My suggestion is use deep research for that. Deep research for Gemini or like another tool, another LLM is going to be another name. But yeah, that's the context. Use deep research is going to take a few minutes, but at the end you will have like an extremely long analysis of your company. And you know, like you can then, of course, keep interacting. You can ask, you can add additional things in the future, but you can use that as a reference to build like to have like your main AI agent that you will speak with. So that's my suggestion. Give all the information regarding the company to the AI to the AI chat and speak with it, mention what you are providing to it, ask it to do an analysis over the company, use deep research, and then in the results you build upon across time. You know, you can really give it like additional information. Sometimes I ask it to give me idea for LinkedIn post. I ask it to help me, for example, what I can offer to a potential client. You know, I really use even for random stuff, not just for then strategical stuff.
Copy. That's really clear. Last quick question is, what is the cost of your AI solution here? Per campaign, I don't know what your campaign size is, but is there any way you can give us some insight into actually how much this costs to run on the back end?
Yeah, we try always to keep like the cost down. So for example, like the main micro agents that are, it's like always follow mini. So like the cost is not that high per lead. I cannot give you like a direct cost per lead enrichment, but we focus a lot on keeping like the cost low. For example, like in here, like the cost for like one of the enrichment is like the 0.0007. So extremely low. Okay. What is more expensive? What I suggest to keep like more, and anyway, for all the ages, it's gonna be like that. Maybe the GTM dossier is gonna cost a little bit more, but it's again like low, 0.006. If you have like my suggestion is to keep like the cost higher for the email builder. So use Photo Mini for like the micro agents and use Gemini Pro for the email builder. And yeah, this is more expensive. For example, it's like 1 cent. Okay, but I use like the last version of Gemini. You're not constrained to use that. You can eventually use like a lower version. It finds as well. It works well as well. But yeah, you know, like depends on the volume. So if I use like here, I use 2.5 Pro. If I use 2.0 Flash, it's gonna be way more cheaper, like same prices as this one, but of course the quality is gonna be a little bit lower. So it depends. So it depends. Usually we spend like a few $100 per volume campaigns. Oh, sorry, I don't want to. Yeah, for volume campaigns, we spend like a few $100. But yeah, this is like more the idea. Follow Mini for the micro agents and like something more eventually expensive for the building of the email itself. My pleasure, Lee. Thank you.
Ciao. Bye. Thanks.
Ciao, ciao.
Next up is Etumnu. If you can unmute yourself. Awesome. There we go.
Hello, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, so my name is Possible, and I've got a couple of questions. Firstly, is what is more important to you? Is it the reply rate or the open rate? Secondly, what is your cutoff kind of percentage for bounce rate that you normally say, okay, this isn't working, I need to start again? And then finally, in your opinion, is it better to kind of do, both email outreach or a combination of both email and call and voice?
Possible, sorry, like what was the last question? A combination of email and?
Voice. So like, like the AI voice callers, stuff like that.
Voice message. Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks. Good questions. So for the open rate versus reply rate, all my life reply rates, without even thinking. Open rates, I would suggest even not to track them because open rates could be basically like a bot that is clicking on that. And if you measure open rates, what's happening is basically you're sending a link, even if you don't see that, is embedded in the email, and the spam checker, Microsoft Outlook, will see the link and will most likely send to spam. So it's best to avoid like tracking at all. Open rates, click-through rate, always best to avoid. Yeah. So reply rates, if you can, it's even better to track, the meeting and the revenue. Revenue, of course, maybe it's like the second step, but even meetings, because maybe you get replies, but you don't get the meeting. So it's important if you can track like the download the funnel is even better. The third question, I don't remember the second one, I will ask again. The third question, like regarding email versus voice, so text versus voice, it depends. If you're sending like an email outbound campaign, I mean, yeah, we cannot send voice, right? Or if we can, I mean, I wouldn't suggest, we can send links, yes. I would suggest always to send us email too anyway, even if it's now like for a matter of deliverability. So always like email one, I would also suggest without links, and email two eventually with a link if you want, where you can eventually place, put, for example, a video. Voice messages, I would suggest more for LinkedIn. So LinkedIn and voice message works pretty well. It's cool. It depends on the target that you're going after, right? I mean, if you're targeting people that are active on LinkedIn and that probably they don't reply, I've done a few videos on this topic. It really depends a lot on the offer on the targeting. If we want to, for example, LinkedIn and voice message works well on a target that is really active on LinkedIn, and your offer needs to as well as needs to be good for LinkedIn as well. I would say it depends on the situation. I would choose email when we have like when we want a lot of volume to be sent. So when we have like volume campaigns, always email, plain text, voice message when we have maybe a small TAM, low volume. Sorry, what was the possible second question?
Can you unmute
You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah. So the second question was what bounce rate is your indicator for if it's a good campaign or when to stop and start again.
Yeah, we don't want usually like a bounce rate that is like higher than 1%. I would say until 1% could be kind of I mean, we want like it lower as possible, right? Already 1% could be quite high, but like I would say above 1%, I get worried. Below 20%, I'm like okay. Of course, if you do the right enrichment in Clay, the bounce rate should be like nearly to zero. But like yeah, if it's like lower than 1%, to be honest, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I don't see impact in the results of the campaign. When it goes, yeah, towards maybe 3% or stuff like that, yeah, that's probably something to stop and check what's going on. Thanks, Possible.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you, Possible. Next up is Anna. Can you unmute yourself?
Thank you so much. Very nice to meet you. And thank you for the amazing presentation. I want to ask you because you told about the costs. It was my question as well. But now I'm questioning you about the cost of the generation of the lists. It's possible to upload the list for the Clay to get this cost minimum, or it's better when the Clay has to enrich the data. It's better when the Clay creates himself the list. This is the first question. And the second question is I forgot, but I will remember. I apologize.
No worry. Hey, Anna. Yeah, thanks for the question. So the cost of like creating the list, what is like, what volume do you have in mind?
I mean, 10,000 per time, but if possible, like 100,000 at least.
Yeah, sure. Okay, of course, it depends, of course, on volumes, right? So, like, if we do, like, the way that it showed was like we were building the contact list with AI. So, like, the cost there is based on the cost of the AI agent that I'm pretty sure is not gonna be super high. Like, we can check together to like some example. Here would be like 0.005 to find in this case, for example, 6 leads. So it's like extremely cheap, you know. Finding leads with AI, it's not easy, but it's like if you master this, is great because it reduces cost a lot. You find leads that you cannot usually find with Apollo or like with other tools, right? Because like you really scrape the web. Yeah. So definitely the cost, it depends on that. One way is this one, like to use AI, and the cost is pretty cheap with AI. Otherwise, you can scrape from Apollo. You can eventually like use Sys Navigator. The cost in that case can increase a little bit, but it's kind of simple. It's more simple because like you give the filters and you scrape and you download. Anyway, it's like for example for 10,000. People usually it's not more than $50 to get the list. Then to enrich the list, messages, it depends again on the volume. If you're using my suggestion is to use APIs that are external because like you save on cost, but I mean, it makes sense, for example, for me because I work on a lot of clients, and so it makes sense because I can, diminish the cost working at economies of scale. If you're working on 10,000 contacts, I would say just use Clay credits. Doesn't make sense to buy every tool by itself, right? It's like a lot of mental effort and a lot of even cost. It would be more expensive. So it depends. If you're doing 10,000 for yourself, I would say just use Clay. It's like best. If you're scaling 100,000, use APIs.
Okay. And the second question was if you use any subscription in Clay that you recommend, like fixed price every month, if you use to this specific enrichment of these lists.
I would suggest definitely having like the enrichments for the email finders that are like the ones that take like more credits. So
But in Clay, subscription inside of Clay.
uh, so sorry, what do you mean? Like for example, in Clay, you can subscribe to Clay, and then you can subscribe to different tools outside of Clay. But then you bring the tool inside of Clay, so you can use the tool in Clay.
Okay, so you don't use any tool that is provided by Clay.
Yeah. Okay. So like the way, there are. So the way it works is, there are like the Clay enrichments. Okay, but I'm not getting a question. So there are Clay enrichments. The Clay enrichments are provided by Clay. Yeah. So you're asking for specific Clay enrichments provided by Clay that are like maybe more valuable than others.
If you use any subscription specifically for this enrichment, or you do this with any subscription, you just pay for the list itself. Every time that you need the list, you pay.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay. Yeah, I was getting a bit confused. Sorry. Yeah, but exactly that's what we do. Whenever we need the list, we pay for the list basically. There isn't really a service. There isn't really a subscription in Clay that allows you to do that. There are like, for example, you can subscribe to specific tools that are like different, that allows you to build databases, and you can pay them on a monthly basis if it's like what you need. I usually don't. I usually just pay for the list whenever I need them. And at this point, we even processed a lot of lists. So most of the time we have like some of the lists that were already enriched like in the past. So I would suggest to get the list when you need it.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Anna. Thanks to you.
Next up is Kat. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
There you go.
Hi, Matteo. Thank you so much for all the useful information. So I have two things I wanted to ask. First, my main signal is the competitor tool that the company uses. So I'll reach out, I'll do these like technology-based campaigns. And I'm in-house, so I have all the fancy tools. Like I have Wapalizer, I have Build With, I have Apollo, I have Vision that could take screenshots. Nothing really does it great, to be honest. Like Vision will disqualify good companies that actually have the tool because the tool shows up like 20 seconds later. I'm talking about like live chat solutions specifically. But then Build With and Wapalizer will give me like 30% of outdated prospects that don't use the tool. So that's my main pain point, I guess, like figuring out, is there a sneakier way aside from like hiring someone to manually go through the list and qualify it, which is something I've done in my previous role. So that's one thing, technology signals. And second thing is, again, I'm in-house and I get like 3-5 demos per week, which my boss is happy with, but I know I can do better considering that I'm sending 1,500 new contacts. So I contact 1,500 new people every week and I get like 2-3 demos realistically. So what I use is my old bread and butter technique that is colleague personalization. So I'll say, hi, Matteo, I wanted to reach out to John, your boss, but figured you might be a better point of contact, which works. But I know I can do better. Like I know I can do better than 2.7, 2.8 reply rate and then less than 1% positive reply rate. I know it's alarming, so I want to fix it because I'm running out of my target audience and I need to kind of get more out of smaller volume. So I wanted to ask you, do you believe this personalization is still like a good tactic, or my low result could be due to deliverability issues because my copy is basically the same other than the colleague name in the opener for
Okay,
every
yeah,
prospect?
thanks, Kat. And yeah, two really great question. Okay, so for the first one, regarding the tech stack, we've done something in the past for a client. Actually, if you can check CloudSet, is like a case study in the website. Like the point there is, like yeah, built with sometimes is not extremely precise, and like the coverage is like more or less what you were mentioning. I would suggest it's very good. I found success with their tech stack. It's pretty good. Of course, like it depends on the level of coverage and the complexity that you want to get to. For example, when we worked on the previous client that I was mentioning, what we did was we had we had the initial we got the potential leads that were using the specific tech stack from different sources. So we merged all the different we merged different sources together. We deduplicated, and then we built a scraper that was going into the website of the companies to check in, for example, in the URL or like in specific parts of the code if if a specific line of the tech stack was there. We built a waterfall check, a tech stack waterfall check, and it was successful. I mean, we were able to disqualify a lot of companies and qualify a few. That's pretty complex, to be honest. I mean, we took some time to build as well. But yeah, that's potentially a solution. If you want to eventually use Clay for this, you bring like all these people in Clay, and you can build basically a waterfall that goes and check the website and see if like the technology is there, checking the URL or checking the script, or otherwise, if you want to use like one source, their tech stack, I don't know if you've used in the past. It's really good. I found difficult tech stacks that, for example, I couldn't find in other platforms built with as well. I couldn't find, for example, I was looking for Ashby for a client, and I couldn't find anywhere. No Apollo, no built with, and I found it in their tech stack. So one of these two methods, depending on the complexity. Sorry, what was the other question?
Do you believe a colleague personalization is a good strategy in 2025? So like referring to someone within a relevant position.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's not terrible. I would say people is more used. Definitely 1 year ago, 1 year ago, it was like crazy to say something like that. I get probably you if you tried 1 year ago, that probably you were having like a lot of replies with it. I guess like right now it's yeah, for sure, like the amount of replies for this type of personalization is way lower. It's way lower. So yeah, I would say like my main suggestion is probably like you can use this more than the entry point. You can keep using it as like a PS, for example. In the PS, you can use personalization, or it's still okay. I'm always like a fan of relevance, but you can use that line as the PS, and the entry point instead, like you mentioned something that is relevant.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. And then just last question. Could you actually type the name of the tool that you mentioned with the technology data? It was like
Sure.
check something. And then would you say that 2.8% total reply rate, excluding out of offices and all that, would you say it's an alarming reply rate that means something is off with like deliverability? Or could it be
Well,
that I have okay deliverability, just the message kind of sucks and it's all about the copy?
2.8% by itself is not a bad metric. How large is the target? How large is the target, and how many emails are you sending per month?
How large is the target? You mean how?
More or less.
So I'm contacting 1,500 people per week, so that makes it 6,000 per month.
Yeah.
And but I
Yeah,
use like multiple inboxes. I scale it through different domains. Like I have like 2 inboxes per domain and all that. And my Smartlead shows good deliverability stats. So I'm assuming it might be a difficult market or a shit message.
I think if you get to no what I think like if you're at 2.8%, I think like your deliverability is definitely good. I get worried with the deliverability when it's less than 1% or anyway like close to 1%. So like there I get worried with deliverability. I think you can improve even because the market is small, so I guess it's very targeted. You can increase like the amount of emails that you send. I would focus on the copy, but if you diversify, if you have a 2.8%, it means that people are replying, right? If you had like close to 1 or less than 1, probably people were not replying because they were not receiving. So I wouldn't worry on deliverability. I would focus more on building on the copy to optimize on it.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much. Sounds great.
Thanks, Kat. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat. Last 2 questions for the day. Vitalin, if you can unmute yourself, would be great.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the great presentation. Yeah, do you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go for it.
Yeah, thanks, Vitalina. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I have also several questions. So you started the presentation, like the workshop, with finding information about the companies. Did you use it on the second stage when you create like the list of people? So did you use this information? Because you said it's easier to find the information about the company at the first stage, and then like you find it once and can use for several point of contacts, for example.
Yes, that's a great point. The more information that you find at the company level, the same information, like let's say that you have one company, 5 leads, right? So that information per the company can be basically like 1, but you have like for 5, so you save on cost. And when you do volumes, that's great. We found the ICP at company level because it's the one that is like unique for the company. It's not specific to the contact. We have done the research we have built the dossier, the GTM dossier. We have built that at company and contact level, okay, at both level. Yeah, my suggestion is like in this case, when you have like when you have to build, I mean, in this case, it made sense to build it like once, to build it once in that stage because we were working on the contact as well. But yeah, if you want to separate one thing that could be done, for example, is like finding all the information regarding the company before and all the information regarding the contact later. To us, it wasn't really too relevant in this case because we wanted to find information regarding more the contact related to the company. And so it would have been like a step more that wouldn't have had more value. But yeah, whenever you want to find information related to the company alone, do it in the company table. And then in the leads table, you refer to what you have found in the company table without enriching it again.
So I can refer both to both tabs, yeah? If I need to refer if I need to refer to the information about the company, I do this I refer to another table.
Correct, 100% correct. Or you can either refer to the table before, or you can send directly the data when you send the data to the other table. But yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Yes, perfect. My next question is about validation. So on some stages, you validated some data like a quality of LinkedIn link, a quality of email or something like this. Is this like some separate task, or how do you validate this information? How do you understand that, for example, LinkedIn link is correct?
Yes. So there was a step in there for the LinkedIn link, for example. Those are like specific steps. I didn't focus on it, but like, for example, here, the LinkedIn URL is the one that we found in the company table, right? And then we have LinkedIn verified, where we verify if the LinkedIn is correct or not. And there is a specific step that it goes and like checks if the URL is correct or not. You can get through this even with a simpler prompt, to be honest. But yeah, like you get like if the LinkedIn is real or not. If it's like if the LinkedIn link is the correct one for the person, because maybe you have like a LinkedIn link that is incorrect for the person. So we want to have the match. And if it's like not a match, like another agent run to find the correct LinkedIn. Sometimes we cannot find it. Like sometimes maybe they don't have LinkedIn, or it's better not to have it than have like one that is wrong. So yeah, this is like an additional step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. And you also mentioned that there is a quality of information that your agent found, like by this green circle or like red square, something like that. So, do you have opportunity to filter out this information by the quality?
Yes, you can filter, for example, something that I've done here in the company table. And the company even depends on the prompt, right? I mean, if you ask a simple task, it's going to be the quality, like that is green or red is very important. If I ask the LinkedIn link and it brings me the red one, I mean, I don't want to use that, right? Because it's like, probably it's wrong. But if I'm asking a lot of information, like for example, the GTM dossier, right? Where it has to find a lot of information, it is like a more complex task. I'm kind of okay with the red one eventually, or like the yellow one, because I mean, there are so many information together that it's normal that something might be not extremely high confidence, and that's okay. Of course, it depends on the level of information that we ask. The more we ask detailed information, the more we want the green one. And that's even the reason why it's better to build a lot of micro AI agents than like build like one unique that has a lot of information. In the find leads here, for example, what we do is we have like the green ones and the red ones here, and here we are filtering, for example. If you can see, we are sending only the leads that are green. We are not sending the leads that are red. You see like here, run condition not met. And in here, the condition is find leads confidence equals high. So we want the
Okay.
confidence of the
Mm-hmm.
score equal to high. You can do this for the others as well, but I deemed that it was like very important to do it now, like in this step, and not much later. But again, it depends then on the step that you on the what is the exact step of the agent.
Okay, thank you very much. And sorry, my last question. Can I start building the list from the search of companies? For example, I need some companies by some parameters like revenue, location of the office. So because I tried to start building such lists, but what Clay gave me, like here's your like list of hypothetical companies, and you can validate all your data you need to know about them like later, and it shrinks the amount of lists. So I don't have all the information at the very beginning. So is it like correct way how to start it, or you have some maybe tricks, best practices on this?
It depends how much you want to qualify, right? I mean, if you want to qualify a lot, of course, like the size of the TAM is gonna shrink. My suggestion is like start from a potential list of leads like you think are in target. I mean, that you get that they are in target. For example, let's say like a simple, a basic thing, right? We can do more complex thing, but let's say that you scrape a list from Apollo. In Apollo, you place the filters and you scrape the list from Apollo. Like that's already quite in target, right? That's already quite in target. At that point, you want to add additional filters, and you can add the additional filters. The more filters you add, of course, the more like you will reduce. My suggestion is like to, we were speaking, for example, like yesterday with a client about this. We wanted to target a list. We added 2 qualification, and he wanted to add like 4 more. And I was like, okay, look, what's the point on adding these 4 more? Because if we add these 4 more, it will take more time to actually get them, and mostly like the size of the list will shrink, and probably like we were leaving out people that in a way like they are relevant as well. So probably the question is like, do you need all those qualification steps? If yes, okay, it's good to have like a small list. It's useless to target and to talk to untargeted list. If you have if like these are like instead kind of like yeah relevant, is okay to keep them. If it is these are irrelevant, you can kind of remove them right from the full picture.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah,
it
thank you very much
yeah.
for your time.
Thanks, Vitania. Thank you. Thanks to you.
Awesome. Next up is Joe's last 2 questions for the session. Can you unmute yourself, sir?
Hello.
Yep.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and
Hey,
clear.
Jose. Yes.
Yes. Oh, thanks. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation. It was amazing. It was another level of quality from the YouTube videos that I've seen before. I am already a pretty advanced Clay user. I've been studying for about 8 months now, Clay. But the level of how deep you went on your prompts, on the complexity, everything that you did, it was really another level. So the first thing I would like to say is that I will I will call you on LinkedIn. Please remember my name, okay? Jose Barbosa.
Thanks,
So you
Jose.
can give me, if you could give me the template. I was the one that asked for that. If you could give me the template, I would really love that if you could. And
Sure.
also, the thing that I would like to ask to you is that you make me a comparison. I saw that you use Gemini. I missed the beginning of the webinar, okay, but I saw that you use Gemini, and I'd like to ask you to make a comparison. Why do you use Gemini, or do you use Gemini for one purpose and OpenAI for another? What, in your opinion, is the purpose, and or is it just cost related? It's just less expensive. What is, in your opinion, the right AI model for each task and for regarding cost? What, make an analysis for me regarding the AI models? Which one should I use, and why do you use Gemini? I mean, things like that.
Thanks, Jose, and thanks really for the kind words. Really appreciate. And yeah, definitely we send you the template. Yeah, just text me on LinkedIn. Anyone who wants, by the way, guys. Yes, so like the choice of LLM depends on the task that you want to do. I was in the past someone that was like against like trying too many LLMs, but I kind of changed my mind after trying a few of them, and I was like, okay, probably it makes sense. OpenAI is good when we have like to do like small tasks, and I like it to use with Clayagent. So when we want to find information on the web, like OpenAI is really good. They don't have like too much capacity in terms of tokens, so they don't have too much like input capacity. So it's good for doing like specific task where you ask, okay, do this, and it goes and do that, and it's perfect. So when I use like find the LinkedIn link, find information, scrape information, whenever it means, whenever they like to scrape information regarding something, OpenAI is perfect. Whenever like instead you have to build a copy, whenever you have to build copy, you need more operational capacity, more brain power, and OpenAI doesn't have like much of that. Basically, like the amount of tokens is less, and per run, and Gemini is way better. Like they have like more space. I've done a LinkedIn post a few months ago exactly on the numbers. I would have to check to give you numbers, but Gemini has way more capacity basically than OpenAI, and this allows Gemini to be perfect when we want to build copy, because like you need to resonate more, right? I tried the two same models, like let's say O-Mini and 2.0 Flash, or like 4.0 and 2.5 Pro, and like the results are way towards like Gemini. There is like really no comparison. Someone like prefers Anthropic and Claude for copy instead than Gemini. I don't know. It to me, I kind of prefer Gemini, but you can try Claude as well. You can try the Anthropic as well. I know that people say that usually it's like really good. So one of the two. But yeah, GPT, great for other things, not for copy.
Okay, great. And just one last thing: is there any other tool that you can't live without that you could tell us about? Any other tool that you think it's really important that you use not only inside Clay, but you use as a whole in your line of work?
I mean, definitely Clay, Smartlead, I mean, the tools for like the email outbound campaign, definitely like these two. For an additional one that I would never live without, yeah, it's difficult. I would say like these two are like definitely my go-to.
Do you use Apify?
Whenever Apify is good, but I mean, we can scrape in other ways as well. I use Browse AI as well. For example, we use the standard data scraper, so sometimes we just scrape from Clay. Probably iReach is a tool that I would say like for LinkedIn, definitely like, someone asked before regarding LinkedIn, and definitely like Smartlead, email, LinkedIn, iReach, and Clays. Like these are really my basic. We have a lot of other tools that we use, but probably like these are like the top 3 ones that I would always use in any campaign.
Awesome.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Jos. Next up is Jerome. Last question for the session.
Thanks, Jose.
Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Yes, can you hear me good?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay,
Hey,
so
Jerome.
thanks for taking the time. I know I'm the last one, so I will not have 10 questions. I just have one. Um, I've followed Clay for a long time. I know it's a great tool, and you are doing lots of things. I just have a question in terms of positioning. My understanding is your solution is perfect for the people who maybe don't have a squad, some people running some automation and cannot use Airtable with Make or N18. And you are providing probably a smoother solution really dedicated to the data generation and lead management. Is my understanding is good, and is my understanding is good? Yeah, that's just my point.
Yeah, John, that's a good question. So I would say like I was, for example, at Scout last week and the conference by Clay, and the one point that was very interesting to answer this question was like they were mentioning that like the goal of the founders, Karim Varoum, is going to be in 5 years that every company in the GTM space is going to be use Clay. So in one way or the other. So what the reason why we're using Clay to do this, I would say it's like a way, to be honest, to be really good even with teams that have already a lot of automations in place. But because like I showed you a part of what we can do, okay, but there is like way more that is like behind the curtains that of course I couldn't show like all today. We chose a topic and I showed this. And this is the part related to the email generation and the part relating to generating leads and generating meetings, basically. But yeah, like the ease of use Clay is that Clay and Smartlead is that whenever like you use them, you can really create a big kind of structure already, a really system. As I was saying at the beginning, I'm a fan of the system concept. And Clay allows you to work a lot on the system way that automations do in a more complex way. Do in a more complex way, because imagine it's not just connecting the lead to the campaign and finding the copy. That by itself, doing this by automation, yeah, maybe you can do by N10, but you would have like to like probably less flexibility in terms of what are the inputs and what are like the changes that you can make. But yeah, like imagine like someone replies, we want to have them in the CRM. We want to have updated metrics in the CRM of what's going on. We want to inform the sales team on the sales calls that the sales call that they're gonna have. So we want to provide them information and really it can go towards the full organization. So the value of Clay regarding like instead of like basic automation or like basic or even advanced automation, okay, like the value of Clay compared to automation is that Clay allows you to use different tools, for example, Smartlead, in a way that you can really build a system and you can really piece all the pieces together. Something that automation, yeah, you probably can do, but it's way more complex. And when we are speaking about systems, you know, and not like specific campaigns, it's where really the value of something like this comes to.
Okay, thanks for your reply. I'm not saying you're better or worse than the other, but from my understanding and what I saw in your complex prompt and your complex system you just show us, it requires also, from my understanding, some skills and training before putting in place all the system you mentioned, as well as putting in place an automation system. So, but thanks a lot for your reply. I understand that you are having a great tool and try to take some market share in this automation system, which is quite large.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty large and yeah, 100%. So definitely like you need some skills in automation, you need understanding, you need skills in automation, you need knowledge in these toolings, and you need strategical knowledge because you can even be the best in automation, but if you don't know what to say, if you don't know what to target, you know, definitely, yes. Thanks, Jerome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerome. We come to the end of session, Matteo. Thank you so much. This was a power-packed, super informative session. I hope, including me, all of us are going to rewatch the video again to get more insights of this. And usually we kind of cap people with the number of questions. Today we didn't, but thank you so much for patiently answering every single one of those questions. And for folks, those who need the Clay table, We have Matteo's LinkedIn on the chat. Drop him a message and he should share them with you. Matteo, anything else to add before we part ways, sir?
No, man, it's really been a pleasure being here. Guys, really thanks for all the questions, for the interest. Really happy to have shared this with you. Thanks, Akash, for all the work, all the coordination. That was great. If you want to stay in touch, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I noticed I just opened a second cell and I noticed already a few messages asking for the template. But yeah, please just do that if you want. You can read our case studies on our website. If you're ready to grow, to scale, feel free to book a call. We can speak strategy. Otherwise, yeah, just follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on the website. If you want to send me a DM and chat, please do. I'm happy to do it. And I post every day. So yeah, happy to stay in touch with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks once again, Matteo. Thank you all folks for taking the time. And as you all know, 3 consistent things in life: death, taxes, and office hours every Thursday. See you all next week. Until then, ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.